Welcome to Construction Project Management, a School of Technology, Eastern Illinois University course, INT 4243. I am Wafeek Wahby, and I'm pleased to have with me today Mr. Ken Ramsey of Lester Buildings in Charleston, and I'll ask him to introduce himself to us.
Okay. Well, my name is Ken Ramsey. I'm the design engineer for Lester Buildings out of our Charleston, Illinois plant. It's one of 3 manufacturing plants here in the country. My responsibility is I'm the primary engineer for the buildings, the structural designs that ship to a 10-state region. I take care of the primary design outside of Illinois, and then I'm the secondary or the initial design for the buildings that ship into Illinois.
Oh, what is Lester? Tell us about Lester. What are you doing in Lester?
Well, Lester, we build what's called post-frame buildings. That came out of the agricultural markets, where shortly after World War II they built, the material was scarce. You couldn't build the buildings to the same whole bunch of lumber and materials that you had before. So they came up with the method of using the telephone poles, galvanized steel, made a very efficient, low-cost building with the materials at hand. Found that you could come up with some very efficient structures that way. So from there, they started looking at that, and we went from storage to livestock, started moving into the suburban markets, and moved into the commercial industry in the past 50 years that Lester's been around. In the early 80s, Butler Manufacturing, which is the steel building, pre-engineered steel building manufacturer, purchased us and created us, Lester Buildings, as a division of them. So today we run from the Atlantic Ocean to the Rocky Mountains, from the Canadian border down right about into the Kentucky-Tennessee area.
Did I see you doing McDonald's somewhere?
We ship basically anything that you want we do a lot of single-story, two-story, any of the agricultural, commercial, retail markets. So we have done in the past joint ventures with McDonald's on the East Coast, where we did some modular units, just built everything here, shipped it together, and put the 2 halves together once on site. We've done a lot of national accounts, Purina Feeds, Sears stores, where they're going into smaller markets and areas.
Talking about McDonald's, I understand, and we know that it is franchise, so every building is almost exactly the same, and the other. What would be you design it, redesign?
Well, we basically take the concept. The architect has put together what he wants the building to be what he wants the look to be, what he wants the size to be, where he wants the doors. We will then come up with the structural aspects of it. My principal responsibility is to make sure the snow and the wind gets safely to the foundation without the building falling apart. So then we'll take a look, once we've met the load requirements, then what's the more efficient way to build it as far as materials and in-place costs. You don't want to have a lot of, if we can take and design a roof truss or a wall column, instead of doing a stud wall like you normally see with wood frame, stud every 16, 24-inch in centers. We can take that same and stretch that out to 8-foot or 10-foot centers. That's a lot fewer pieces to put in the ground or put up on top of the concrete, and so your construction time is faster that way.
Is Lester registered or licensed? Do they need to do that? If somebody wants to start another Lester, would he need or she need?
Well, we ship. We build the packages here, so we are actually a manufacturer of buildings, and so then we ship those to a dealer organization that is throughout the U.S., and those dealers have to be qualified financially, have the crew power, have the knowledge to put it up to meet kind of our specifications, and then once they've maintained that, as far as an end-use customer, somebody that's actually going to occupy the building, they would go to the Lester builder, say, this is what I need for a building. The Lester builder would come to us and say, this is the package that I'm looking for.
Did you say Lester builder?
A Lester builder, yeah.
What that is?
He would be a qualified dealer.
With you, have agreement with you?
Yes. They're going to agree to sell and carry only our line of buildings. They're not going to have another wood building package at the same time and sell both.
So they'll be your agents, kind of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so when we get somebody expresses interest in needing a building, we refer them to that builder. He starts to talk to them, find out what their needs are.
What makes him or her sign this contract with you? Do you compensate them, or?
Well, you have the advantage of one of the things, our market is generally smaller. When you get into Chicago, St. Louis, Indianapolis, there you have the construction firms are very large, especially the general contractors. They're going to have architects and engineers either on staff or on retainer from design firms. They're going to have project coordinators. They're going to have buyer planners. They're going to have site supervisors. They're going to have the owner. They're going to have the sales staff. You get out into our areas where we started from the rural and moved to the urban. Most of the companies that work with us are smaller firms. There may be the owner. He may have a couple sons involved or a couple daughters involved. That they have somebody who pays the bills in the office, salesman. Project coordinator is probably the owner who is also the salesman, who is also the site supervisor. So what we end up doing is putting together an entire package. So instead of having to call one vendor for trusses, one vendor for side steel, one vendor for wall framing, one vendor for fasteners, they call us and we ship them the entire package. The other advantage we have is we've already done the structural design work on it. So they don't have to worry about, will it meet the design loads, will it meet the building codes that are in their area. We've already done that.
Now, you mentioned they call us, we call them. Would you elaborate for us a little bit? How would you advertise your work, your product, and how people contact you? How the link is happening?
Well, there's multiple ways to do that. They have.
I'm not asking for the secret.
Right. The Lester dealer will do his own local advertising in the local papers, radio spots, and then we will do national advertising in trade magazines that relate to specific markets, whether they be commercial or dairy or horse. And we will then also have Lester maintains a website, and so anybody going searches Lester Buildings, they also can have a link back to the local builder. They can search for, they can type in their zip code, and that brings up who the closest builder is to their area.
Do you use internet for that? I mean, are you on the net?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. The Lester Buildings has the national site, and each of the builders has the option, depending on their skill level, of linking their site to our site.
Okay.
You get a wide range of expertise in our builders. They all can build the buildings. Some of them are more used to computers than others.
Yes.
The builders, some of them have got along fine with writing the contract on the napkin and just getting the pieces.
Yeah.
Today, where they have to send in the computer, they'll send in the order on the computer because we require it. But the using of websites and the rest of the things, they're not really.
I heard some people in the market, they train their guys somewhere else into computers, so that makes these things easier.
Yeah. Well, we're finding a lot of our older builders are bringing in the next generation. So we'll have some phone calls where, well, the son, the daughter, the cousin, the niece, the nephew, the grandchild is back from college, so I need to upgrade this patch you sent us and help them walk through that to do some of that.
Very good.
Now, on the other hand, we've got a number of builders that are closer, the ones in Denver, the Denver area, Columbus, Madison, Minneapolis. They're much more in tune with the computers, and they actually have probably fancier websites than we do, just to drive that business in.
Very good. So let's take a break now, and thank you for this, and we'll come back in a minute.
Okay.